You say the market is still receptive to good IPO stories. That doesn't seem to be the reaction on the day of for Yum China. What do you think is happening?
Yeah, not a great day for Yum. I think, this share is slightly different from the other IPOs that we saw on Hong Kong market recently. Yesterday, there was a Chinese mineral water company that is debuting, and the result was very strong, was like up more than 50% on the first day. But I think Yum is a secondary listing. It has a US counterpart. So I think whatever valuation you can get on the Hong Kong market is being referenced upon the US listed entity. So as a result, as you can see, the US shares has been a little bit soft after a good rally since March. And I think as a result, Yum China today's performance in Hong Kong is being affected as well.
Fair point. Let's talk about the liquidity side of these listings or IPO market. Earlier this week, as you talked about in Nongfu Spring, we spent some time talking about that 10-day, longer than usual lockup period for deposit money. And we've got yet another mega IPO happening soon in weeks to come by Ant Group. What do you think is happening with the liquidity situation in Hong Kong market?
Yeah, I think for the water company, it was like more than 1,000 times oversubscribed. So I think it actually locked up quite a bit of liquidity in the market. But I think in general, when you see a good, hotly contested IPO, you tend to see such situation going on. So I think before this, we have the JD.com, we have a few other names that is seeing hundreds of times oversubscribed as well. So it's not surprising to see this. But then at the same time, what we saw today, Yum China, even though it's a consumer name, but after all, it's American fast food, and because of the culture crash between China and the U.S., and I think that is affecting investor sentiment as well.
Do you think that this is also due to investors perhaps chasing growth instead of value at this point?
I would say so. I think Yum is more traditional sort of consumption names, Chinese consumption names. It's been in China for almost more than 30 years actually, and I think for the next couple of years, even though the Chinese operations still have rather ambitious plan to expand, and even though you add up organic growth plus new store growth, I think the top line growth wouldn't be much more than 10%, versus the other names that we've seen seeing a very high double digit, or even doubling sales every year. So Yum brand is a very mature Chinese consumption story.